What if you could see your entire Christmas shopping plan in one simple place? The most organized holiday shoppers aren't using spreadsheets or Google Docs anymore. They're using my holiday shopping planner and tracker that I built in Notion. This planner tracks your budget, tells you how much you've spent per person, lets you know whether your gifts are still in the mail or whether they're waiting to be wrapped, and even creates store-specific shopping lists so you never forget a purchase. I've been using and refining this system for years, and at this point, it's incredibly simple. I'm so excited to show you how it works. Let's get started. Alrighty, the weather is getting colder and the holidays, whatever ones you celebrate, are approaching, and I have a holiday shopping planner and tracker to show you today. Now, I will say, I used Christmas in the title for the keyword optimization to get this video in front of folks, but this can be used for any holiday shopping, no matter what you got. Before we get started, if you want to download this, if you want to skip the whole video and just get right to the download, you can go to queerefficiency.com/holiday. It's queerefficiency.com/holiday. And you can download this entire template exactly the way I've built it in this video. As of this video, I'm going to try a new model going forward. I'm going to have a pay what you want option on my site. So when you go to download it, you can still download this for $0 if you'd like. If you're feeling a little generous and you'd like to contribute a few dollars to this channel, I would greatly appreciate any support that you'd like to offer. So that option will be there. Again, queerefficiency.com/holiday to get this exactly as it's built. Today, we're going to take a tour. And then in next week's video, I will show you how to build it if you're feeling up for a DIY project. So let's jump in. I'm going to scroll down. This video is linked at this button. So if you ever want to get back to it and need the tutorial for how to use this document, that's where you go to get it. But to get started, all you'll do is come down to this table and either click the new button here or click new page here. Either way. I like this one because then I can very easily enter the year. Then we'll open the document and we are in. So this document is built on 3 simple databases that are linked together: the people database, the stores database, and the items database. Now, I will say, the people and the stores databases are mostly there for setup purposes. They can be used for other things, as you'll see, but you're going to spend most of your time in the items database or its related views. So as I toggle between these, you'll see that the title up here changes to match the name of the database. But then as I flip to these others, you'll see that it stays items, and that's because these are just different views of the same database. Notion, a few months back, allowed us to create new data sources that are multiple databases combined in one view, so that's how I built this. Okay, to get started, all you need to do is enter the people that you're looking to buy gifts for in this page. So I'm going to enter a few people with whom I am great friends and absolutely know deeply and intimately: Ina Garten, Bianca Del Rio, and Jennifer Coolidge. They are my best friends, and we absolutely have met in real life. Now, you could stop here. You do not need to use the budget feature, but if you do know how much you want to spend per person, you can enter a dollar amount. And I'm just going to say $100 because it's simple. You'll notice as I do that, the remaining column populates with 100, and the cost column has done nothing because we haven't entered any items. And speaking of which, these 2 columns here are related properties to the items database, and they will populate as we enter items. So nothing's going to happen with those here. The same thing is going to be true on the stores database. Now, I have a whole bunch of stores already pre-populated, and these are the stores that I've accumulated over years of buying like one-off gifts or all of my Christmas shopping, things like that. So all my Christmas shopping is basically done at Amazon at this point. But for stores like Kroger that I probably bought a one-off item and added it, those are on here too. You can come in here and delete all of my stores by selecting them all and starting over from scratch, or you can go through and cherry pick the ones that you'd like to get rid of and keep the ones that you don't. If you want to add a store, which I know that we're going to need to for the purposes of this demo, because I'm going to make some stupid joke about Bianca Del Rio's drinking and say that she needs to buy Pedialyte, which she's going to do at CVS, and CVS isn't on here yet. So let's add CVS by clicking New Page, typing CVS, and you'll notice that it jumps up here in alphabetical order because this view is sorted alphabetically. And you'll notice that the icon is this generic shopping cart. All new stores will be this generic shopping cart unless you update them, and it's actually really easy to update. So I'm going to open a new browser tab and I'm going to bring this over, and then I'm going to type CVS logo squares. You can see I've already typed it before. You can replace CVS with any store, but I would recommend keeping logo and square on there because the square versions work the best. And I will come here, go to the images tab, and then I like this plain version, so I'm going to open that. And then the image is here, which I'm going to right click and hit copy image address. It's important that you choose image address and not link address because we need the address, the URL to the actual image. So we'll hit copy. That's going to copy to the clipboard. And we're actually done with this tab now. So I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to come to CVS. I'm going to click the icon, choose upload, and then Control V on my keyboard or Command V on a Mac, and it will just populate. As long as the link is there on your clipboard, it will populate. I'll hit save, and that's all it takes to update the logo. Don't have to do that. You can set them all. You can delete all the stores and then leave the generic shopping cart icon. Totally fine. I just like having the logos here, and it's really quick to update them. Again, these two columns and actually the cost column, all of these are related to the items database. And so these aren't anything to edit. They're just going to populate with data as we add things to the items database. So this is where you're probably going to spend the bulk of your time between one of these views, items by person or by store. One of the three of them is probably where you're going to spend most of your time. I typically spend most of mine here, but there are some specific use cases for these other two. So now I'm going to enter some sample items. And the first one for Ina is a store-bought is fine rubber stamp. We're going to get her a custom rubber stamp. Now, I could just click on this column, click the person, do the same thing for the store. I will be buying that on Etsy. This column here is for the URL. So if there's a product that you'd like to list the link for, you can copy and paste it right into that field. For this demo, I'm not actually going to put anything there, but know that that's what it's there for. And then I'm going to enter what I'm guessing it will cost. I'm going to guess it's $40. If you know the exact price, enter the exact price. And then the status column will come to last, but they will all default to not started when you create new items. So we've done that one for Ina. Then we're going to get her some tiny martini glasses, which is a riff on the joke she made during COVID where she came up with a gigantic martini glass for a Cosmo. And this time we'll start typing, and we're going to type Ina and hit enter, and then enter Amazon for this product. That's where we're going to get that, and then hit tab to continue along, and then $25. Now I'm going to hit shift enter and create a new row, and then I'll just tab back so that way I can keep my hands on the keyboard as opposed to having to flip back and forth with the mouse. And the next thing I know we're going to get her is the classiest little black blouse because we know that she loves those, and we're going to get it from the classiest possible store, which you know when she's in the Hamptons, she goes to all the time. Kohl's. And that will be, we're going to spend so much on her. We're going to spend $35. Now, this is actually an accident that my sample items that I have off screen that you can't see totaled to $100. I didn't plan it that way, but it kind of works because now that I have these items, we're going to flip back to the people view, and you can see that Ina here has all of her items, and you can see they're not started status. The cost for those items is $100. It's adding those together, and the remaining is $0 because we have utilized all the budget. It's taking cost and subtracting it from budget to get this value. So actually, I just realized, let's turn on my little highlight so you can see that. Let's flip back here and say this item is actually going to be $36 instead of $35. Now we've gone over budget. So let's flip back to people, and you'll see that it's lit up red. It's because the remaining value is negative. So anytime that goes negative, it's going to light up red, which tells you as a quick visual indicator, hey, we might have a problem here. Probably need to adjust the budget. But what we're going to do in this case is we're just going to put her back to 35 and assume that we'll stay on budget there. Now I'm going to enter some items for both Bianca and Jennifer, and I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to watch it in real time because it takes a long time. Okay, we've got all of our items entered, and really quickly I wanted to show you that we've got this We Both Love Soup sweater here, and if you don't get that reference, go and watch Best in Show. Amazing. If you like Schitt's Creek, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, play a couple. Amazing. Hilarious. If you like dry humor, the best. That's where it's from. So go watch that. We can definitely get something like this ancient dated reference from the early 90s at TJ Maxx right now, 100%. But just in case we can't, let's also tag this item at Marshall's because maybe we can get it there. The point here is that you can tag items at multiple stores so that you have options to buy them in multiple places. So let's flip back to our people view really quickly and see all of our items are entered here. We can see our remaining budget values. We have a little bit left to spend from Bianca and from Jennifer. And then let's flip to the stores view, and you can see the items are populating here as well. If I were to, for instance, buy all of the items that I tagged at Amazon, it would be $35. Now, because some items, like the ones at Marshall's and TJ Maxx, are listed in multiple categories, it's going to count against both of those. So it's making an assumption here that you buy all the items from that particular store. That's one of the reasons I don't love this view. I actually prefer the items by store view, which gives you a much more accurate representation of each item and the statuses that we haven't covered yet. I'm going to come back to that. But in this view, they're grouped by store, and you can see the sum here of the item very simply in each group. Now, something I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to the items view, and I'm going to take this store-bought is fine stamp, and I'm going to tag a bunch of stores that aren't already chosen. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. So now we've got all these stores. In Notion, when you have grouping on, and there's lots of groups, and that's why I toggled on all those stores, because it's creating a lot of groups. As I scroll down, you'll notice that it gets truncated. Old Navy is not the end. There's this load more button. This is a quirk of Notion I don't love, but just be aware, if you have a lot of stores or you have a lot of people, this is going to be the same thing in the items by person view. You have to click the load more each time you open this page so that it can expand to show everything that's there. I kind of wish Notion had an option to toggle that on or expand how many groups would show by default, but we're not there. And so just be aware that that's a thing. Okay, so let's jump back to the items view. And I'm just going to back all this out and we'll turn Etsy back on. So now that we have our items entered, we want to start modifying the statuses. And the status is really the bread and butter of this system. Being able to track where each item is very handy. So for me, you'll see as I expand this, the to-do group really supports the way my brain works with this. I typically will list a bunch of gift ideas for each person that I'm buying, and all of those items live side by side, but it's helpful to be able to determine which ones I'm actually going to buy and which ones are not likely. So that's what these statuses are for. If I'm definitely going to buy an item, I'll tag it as definitely. And you'll notice that it jumped down in this particular group because this is also sorted by status. So the statuses will appear side by side so you can easily see each item in its status. This item is a maybe. This item is a maybe. And then we're going into Bianca now. And so we're definitely going to get high coverage concealer for her. So we mark that as definitely, and you'll see that those go side by side. Now, as we move outside of the to-do group, we have a generic in progress. And honestly, I just left it there as a catch-all in case the other statuses don't cover it. But what I find is pickup, shipping, and wrap are the things. So either the item still exists at the store and I haven't done anything with it, or it's one of these three. I've ordered it online for store pickup and it means I need to go do that thing. I need to go pick it up. I've ordered it online and it's being shipped to me and I'm waiting for it to be shipped. Or I have the item in my possession. Either I've already picked it up, I've already gotten the shipment, or I went to the store and just bought it and it's ready to be wrapped. These are the three statuses that make the most sense. And I will say, being able to track which items are being shipped to me, game changer. It is so helpful to have a consolidated list across stores. So it's not just Amazon. Like I would order a bunch on Black Friday, for instance, and I'd have all these orders coming to me and not remembering which things had arrived. It was a nightmare. Being able to see all of my stuff in one place and monitor the status was very, very handy. An example of that is if you ordered something from like an Uncommon Goods or something like that's not necessarily known for its fast shipping like Amazon, or maybe you ordered something from, like Temu or something, which is really not known for fast shipping. Being able to see that on a list of items that are still being shipped to you, and now it's like December 15th, and we don't know when it's going to get here, might mean that we have to change tactic a little bit and possibly consider a different gift. Very, very handy. So as the items get through all of my in progress statuses, let's say, okay, now I'm ready to wrap this, and you'll see as the items move through my to-do status, let's move some into the in progress. You'll notice that they jump into this group, and maybe this one is now shipping, and this one is waiting for pickup. Actually, that doesn't make any sense. That's Etsy. This one is waiting for pickup. So they're starting to drop down into this in progress group. So the goal, obviously, is to get everything out of the to-do group, move it to the in progress, and ultimately into the done group. Now, as a quick little visual bonus in this tracker, if every item in a specific store is marked either as done or archived, or in which case it will hide, we'll talk about that in a second, either done or wrap, meaning it's not at the store, I have it in my possession, let's mark this item as wrap and flip back to the store's view, you'll notice that Amazon is lit up green. That's because there's no more actions to take in terms of buying the items from that store. So it means I don't have to consider Amazon. It works from a kind of shopping list standpoint. Oh, all my items from Amazon have been purchased. So that's a handy little visual aid in terms of your stores. We actually have something similar from a people standpoint. So let's mark the Ina Garten item, just for the sake of an example. Let's say that the store-bought is fine is done. And then we've also completed both other items for her. Those are both wrapped and done. Now all the items for Ina are done. I can go back to the people view and see the same thing. Items that are marked as wrap in this case wouldn't make sense. You still have an action to take for Ina. So wrap wouldn't help. If I changed, for instance, one of them, doesn't matter which, back to the wrap status and come back, it will turn off the green. But once they are all moved to done or archive, then it will flag them in green. And that's another goal here, is to get everyone here in green. I'll show you a quick little bonus here that wasn't in the original plan, but I can come back. Let's mark her item as done. And you'll see this is green. If you'd like, you actually could come in here, click this button, turn on this done property that's hidden. This is how this is working in the background. This is a formula. Then click the little done icon and choose group. Now it will group. I might want to change the order of the group so that the not done ones are first. Then I can hide this again. I don't need to see it anymore. Now, anytime someone is done, they'll jump down into a group and I can see them separately. That's another handy visual aid. Could do the same thing for the stores. It's built exactly the same way. Just repeat those steps exactly the same for the stores. Now let's say things change and maybe our budget changed. Maybe we don't have quite as much money. And so let's put Ina's stuff back. I'm just going to highlight her items and hit the delete key, and it's going to set it back to the default status, which is not started. And let's come back here and look at our budgets. Let's say we have to cut everyone's budgets in half for whatever reason. We're going to reduce these to 50 each. Jennifer is good. We stayed under $50 for her, so we don't have to change anything here. But let's say we need to get some items out of the view to bring our costs down a bit. So let's jump to our items by person view now, which is where this is going to be really handy. So let's look at Bianca. We've already decided, and we have this, it's still marked for pickup. So we've already ordered the concealer. Let's say we're going to keep that. And then we're definitely going to get the Pedialyte for her because we're bitches. And so we're going to get rid of, we can mark it initially as we're thinking, like probably not. And then what we can do is change it to archived. In this view, it will disappear. Same with all the item views. That item is going to go away so you don't have to see it. Now, let's just say as a brief aside, we want to get it back. That's where the unfiltered view is handy. It's an unfiltered view of the items, and it's sorted from top to bottom by most recently edited. So it's easy to find that archived item and restore it. Something to be aware of though, on the people view, this is a Notion quirk. When you have a roll-up property like this, you'll see that in hers, she's got an archived item, but it still shows. It's not going to go away. However, I have taken that into account in terms of our budget. So if we're using this feature, items that are tagged as archived will not impact our budget here. Just because it's showing doesn't mean that this value is incorrect. So we do have $14 remaining because we've only elected 2 items that total 36. So just be aware of that little quirk here. Archived items also stay in this view, which again, this is why I said the people in stores tables are mostly for setup. You might use them for that kind of visual quick aid with the green highlight and the red highlight. But on the whole, you're going to spend a lot of your time in these views processing things through as the statuses change. That's really where the magic of this system happens. One other thing I didn't mention at the top, but I think is a good idea. This is something I would do. I would flag this as a favorite so it shows up here just for the holiday season, and then you can unflag it as a favorite when you're done with it, because it's just handy if you're going to be using it all the time to have it show in this favorite section. All right, the one last thing I'll say about this, if we back out to the main view, this is set up as a template, so we can reuse this exact thing. You can keep a record of what you purchased, so you have that for the future. And then as you create new pages, you can just enter for next year and keep a running list perpetually. You grab this once and it will work for as long as you need it to. So I hope that you find this useful. I know that I use this every single year and it makes such a difference in my shopping. I highly encourage you, head to queerefficiency.com/holiday and download this. As a reminder, if you have a couple bucks to spare and can contribute a little bit to this channel, every single dollar, even if it's $1, every single dollar that folks contribute is so meaningful to me and helps me keep putting out more content like this and more templates like this for you to use. So I highly encourage you to do that. Head over there and grab this from me. And then also, if you're more of a DIY person and want to learn to build this yourself, next week, my video is on exactly that. Now that we've looked at how it works, I'm going to teach you step by step how to build this with all the relations and the formulas and things that are kind of hiding in the background so that you can make it yourself if you don't want to download it and prefer to build your Notion skills at the same time. So if DIYing this is your speed, that video is on your screen right now. See you over there.